Hello, Froggy here, and today we'll be getting back into Queen's Court with 6 people. Naturally, we're not going to be able to do this from patrol, so we will need to use a Last Wish raid instance. So gather 6 of your buddies and let's get to work. So this route was made possible by Avvy. She discovered some nice new mechanics for wrongloading. So first we're going to go ahead and set up an IRB point. Only 2 people need to do this route. So I'm going to go ahead and head over past this kind of triangular looking patch and set my IRB point right about here. It's not super specific, so don't stress out too much. Avvy and Cube 17 are blocking my spawn point, so I'll get the fallback. At this point I need to not die, since I do have an IRB point waiting. But I want to get over into Spine of Keres. So you can do that by skirting the turn back on the right, and then quickly flying over to the left, but wasn't too comfortable in my approach there, so I'm going to give it another go. I'm not a very fast frog, so this is always pretty tight for me. Once you hit the load, you want to immediately turn around. We don't want to be updating our default spawn. So the reason we're here at all is Avvy found that if you hit a death to load, you preserve your primed loading info. And if your default is favorable, you'll keep it primed. By the way, thanks to Elite and Adelaide for figuring out death to loads for Divalian here. Very convenient. So at this point, we just want to get as many people as we can over to the Queen's Court area. Over the years, we've found quite a few ways to do that, some of which require multiple people, some of them which can be done solo. You can reference any of these videos for different ways. We opted for a Bay-powered wrong warp, which is probably the easiest way, plus a Bay wrong load to get people into Spine, without having to use stasis crystals. Speaking of which, it's time for me to help Avvy hit the same route that I did by providing stasis crystals so she'll get the fallback point. I can't die to generate ammo because of the whole pending IRB point thing. But luckily, 5 shots is all you need. I may have messed up my first set of crystals. Sadly, we won't be generating any sword ammo now that that's gone, though. Now, with Avvy safely at the fallback and much more competent at hitting the spine load, it's time to finish out the route. Avvy has actually already done what you're seeing here, except that I'm going to be triggering the auto-res, and in case you didn't know, you can hit that from right about there and not have to bother with going inside the room. If I were a fast frog, I could get the auto-res myself by just racing this dialogue. But I am not, so I'm just going to have Avvy get my res. And as you can see, once I hit this load, I still have the wrong load for spine trigger. Yay! At this point, nothing left but getting to Queen's Court, which is pretty easy. You only need a small amount of sword ammo to get there. I guess I could grapple fly, but luckily there's another trick I can use. A while back, a wiki reached out on Discord and told me that Nadir Focus actually works without the sword having ammo. That means if we give a few swings, we will start proccing the ability, and we can actually use this to sword fly indefinitely. You can do a similar thing with Eager Edge, but I find that a lot more difficult. Eventually I plan to redo my sword flying guide with all of these sorts of tricks, and I'll go into more details there. This is going to be a bit of a long flight, so in the meantime, let's do something I've never done before. A giveaway. So a few weeks ago I got an email related to the Bungie Creator Program. I was given a free key for Final Shape and the annual pass. Of course I've already pre-ordered, so I figure I'll pass it on to the rest of you. To enter this giveaway, just leave a comment with your favorite out-of-bounds related video along with a brief description, and I'll choose one randomly. Anyways, back to the route. If someone is dead in Queen's Court, they'll show up on your radar, so you can use that to line up. I chose this approach because I wasn't quite sure how much a height I would be able to keep at this point. Hilt flying is not the easiest thing to get the timing down for, so it definitely took me a few tries. Luckily, fall damage doesn't kill anymore, so the final approach shouldn't be too difficult. We're on the back side of Queen's Court, but like I showed in a previous video, you can make your way back inside via a simple hole, which I have kind of forgotten the location of, so I'm just gonna have Adelaide here point me in the right direction. Oh yes, I remember that wall. And this one. Here we go. I think there's a few that you can use around here. But we're in. Now we've just gotta wait for the rest to make it. You may recognize some of these names. This new route was quite a collaborative effort. And the whole gang's here. Now time for the hardest part, getting everyone coordinated for the group shot. Unfortunately, Archie isn't here inside of the raid instance. At least I don't think he is. I already did the quest, so sadly I wouldn't see even if he was. But yeah, thanks a lot to Avvy for finding this, and hopefully it'll lead to even more Wrongload tech in the future. I have a feeling we've barely scratched the surface there. Anyways, nothing left to do but leave. The portal on the way out will be functional. Leaving isn't final though. If you die without setting a spawn point or otherwise block spawn points you set, you'll spawn right back inside. And that'll let you enjoy the music a second time. It never gets old. Oh, and what's this over here? Some sort of final shape? Sadly, I'll be out of town for the launch, so I'll be missing the raid race this year, as well as the early OOBing experience, so I probably won't be responding to any messages about that sort of stuff until I get a chance to experience the campaign for myself. Anyways, happy exploring, and I'll see you guys in final shape. Oh, and good luck to those of you still working on Pantheon.